I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. One of my all-time favorite websites on the internet is called The Onion. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's a satire site. And they cover news and politics and stuff like that. But it's not only a political site. One of the things that The Onion does really well is take a close look at who we are and contemporary life and regular people. So while the politics stuff and the news satire can be interesting enough, I like that they go wider than that. And they go into some things about the human character and day-to-day life. And they do it well. I read a story on The Onion a week or two ago. And it was, the headline, it's always set up as a newspaper or as a television station. The headline was something like, "Local man discovers the joys of being the little spoon." Does everybody know what spooning is? It's cuddling, and one person is the little spoon, and one person is the big spoon. The inside person is the little spoon. The outside person is the big spoon. Well, apparently this man and his wife had, for years, had this unspoken arrangement where he was the big spoon. And then one night, he got up during the night and came back to bed. And as he got into bed, the wife came, threw her arm over him, and cuddled up to him from the back. She was on the back side. And all of a sudden, for the first time ever, he was the little spoon. And he liked it. He liked it a lot. And as he laid there basking in the glory of discovering the wonders of being a little spoon, it suddenly occurred to him this disruption of his new joy. Oh no, we're going to have to renegotiate our entire relationship if I'm ever going to get this again. And he didn't know what to do about that. But he was pretty happy, and he had discovered the joys of being a little spoon, being the one held. And I thought that was a really great slice of life. And the reason I tell you about this little spoon story is that it leads us into this gospel story, this passage from the gospel. This week in the church calendar is Good Shepherd Sunday. You heard in our psalm, the 23rd psalm, Psalm of the Good Shepherd. We heard in the gospel, Jesus very intentionally using this figure of speech, as John calls it, about sheep and the shepherd, and the care for the sheep the shepherd has, and the response of the sheep to the Good Shepherd. One of the most ancient images of Jesus in the church is Jesus as Good Shepherd. It is part of his self-identification that he shares with the earliest disciples. I am the Good Shepherd, Jesus tells us. And so it has been from the beginning of the church. This image of the Good Shepherd, with the lamb over his shoulders, bearing the lamb, tending the lamb, caring for the lamb, is the image of the Good Shepherd. And those who have ever been the little spoon may know just a taste, just a touch of what it is to know the love of the Good Shepherd, to receive love, to be held, to be cared for, known, and appreciated. Jesus as the Good Shepherd cares for, appreciates, and knows us. His great desire for us is that we receive this. Take our turn being the little spoon. As you make the transition of these figures of speech from spooning to the Good Shepherd, it has nothing to do with gender or sex. It has nothing to do even with age. But the very human, deep truth of needing and wanting love. This is available to us. Are there ways that we let things of this life and things of this world, like gender, and age, oh, I'm a guy, I'm always going to be the outside spoon if I'm spooned at all. Or I'm single and I'm always going to be unspooned. Or age. Oh, it's a true thing. Or is it age? No, I'm grown up now. Who am I to be held? I should only be doing the holding, or I don't need that. These things are artificial. They are barriers to our true identity and to the love that the Good Shepherd has for us. When I was in Istanbul years ago, they have a great archaeological museum, which would not be surprising in Istanbul. It's a great world city, every bit like New York or London, but it's 8,000 years old, and they have a fantastic archaeological museum. There's an entire display case in the archaeological museum of Good Shepherd statues. Statues from churches, statues, smaller statues from people's homes, from their personal devotion, of the Good Shepherd with the lamb tended over his shoulder, over both shoulders. This is an ancient sign of Jesus in our faith and of our relationship with Jesus from the earliest days of the church. At the seminary where I was trained, the chapel on campus was called the Chapel of the Good Shepherd. And we have a cross, an empty cross, the cross of the risen Christ, behind our altar. Behind the altar at the seminary, General Seminary in New York, in the Chapel of the Good Shepherd, is a nearly life-size statue, not of a cross or of Jesus on the cross, but of Jesus as the Good Shepherd, cradling a lamb, and a very masculine male Jesus holding this lamb figure very much as a woman would cradle and nurse a baby. And above his arm, what you see is the face of the lamb and the body of the lamb looking face to face with Jesus. And you can imagine, if you sit there long enough, you can imagine how they fill one another's field of view, and the love and the choosing of vulnerability so that they might share love, to give and receive love. Choosing that vulnerability to love as they fill each other's view, the Lamb and Jesus. The symbol of the Good Shepherd is hundreds, thousands of years old, and one of the first and deepest symbols, ways of knowing who Jesus is. There are statues of Good Shepherds that predate Christ, predate Jesus, and show that there's always been this strand of human understanding of this sheep-shepherd relationship and of this need for love, this hunger for love. Jesus says, I am the Good Shepherd. Do we make ourselves vulnerable to receive his love? Do we let the things of this world, conventions and demographic categories, stand between us and that love? Do we accept the love that's offered? Jesus is the Good Shepherd. I am the Good Shepherd, says Jesus. He invites us all to accept his love, that we might have fullness of life. For this we can say, thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.